So this video we're going to be looking at some of the Boolean tools, and these are going to be some of your favorite tools. You're going to use them all the time, and basically they are a set of tools that allows you to use two objects to edit each other. The first thing you're going to want to do is make several copies of your extruded bas-relief condition. So I'm going to ask you to do 3 Boolean operations so you can kind of tell how those tools work. So right now you'll see we have these two extrusions and they're kind of overlapped. So the bottom of this object is sort of intersecting with this base field condition. So let's try some of the Boolean commands just to see what we get. And let's start off with Boolean difference. Okay, so with Boolean difference it says select the surface to subtract from. Let's start by subtracting this object or this figure out of this figure. And then this is what I want to subtract with, and I hit return. And now you can see that these figures are a little bit more distinct. Why? Because when I subtracted this object, I basically cut into this other object. Now you can see that piece is independent, right? Because I cut all the way through it, and actually this piece will also be independent. So that's kind of an interesting operation. That might be useful, right? So I could construct objects that are intended primarily to cut other objects. So that's Boolean difference 1. Let's try it the other way. Let's hit return to get the command again, and this time let's do the opposite. Select the surface to subtract from. Let's pick this object and return. Select the surface to subtract with. Let's hit this and return. Now when we look at this again, we can see kind of the clear distinction of the figures, but now it's because this one has basically had its base trimmed off. That could also be very interesting, right, and very useful. So this base kind of stayed the same, and we basically took this figure off of it. So we might, again, create some objects to trim other objects. Let's do a different Boolean command. So you'll notice when you type in Boolean that you get lots of options. So let's do Boolean intersection. Select the first set of surfaces or polysurfaces. Okay, enter. Select the second set, enter. And we just basically got just the intersection. It got rid of everything that wasn't an intersecting zone. Let's do Boolean union. So the Boolean union basically is going to add these two extruded figures together. Select the surfaces for the union, hit enter. Now the whole thing is going to act as one. Now it's just one single object. Okay, that's helpful. So the last one we're going to choose is actually going to give you a little bit of playtime. Click Boolean to objects to iterate. So we basically want to click in order to see what variations we can get. So I'm just clicking, right-clicking with my mouse to see what kind of versions I can get. Look at all these different variations of using one figure to cut into another figure. So that may be very useful to you, is to basically iterate, and when we find the one we like, let's say it's that one, I'm just going to hit return, and that's my new object. So that's the power of the Boolean operations. We're going to use those a lot today.